Good evening and welcome to round 10 of the TTL Division 1 Championship. Tonight, our drivers will be taking us around the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps for 22 laps. The 7 kilometre circuit has 19 turns with 2 DRS zones and is one of the longest tracks on our calendar. At the top of the championship, it's really tight with Mag User leading, but LAR Lives is just 2 points behind after missing last week. With 5 rounds left, neither driver will want to slip up tonight. Tonight, I will be joined by David Baldface, who is just running a little bit late. I expect to be by the end of Q1. So unfortunately, you'll have to listen to my nice, lovely voice talk a bit of waffle for about 20 minutes. As we do see some drivers leaving the pits. Apologies if you don't. And that's gone well for Snares as we see him with a wheel off, and I imagine he's dropped it out the pitch straight away. Not ideal for the AlphaTauri man, right? That I'd love to see what's happened to him. Really unfortunate. But our first driver that will be making it around the 7 kilometre track will be LAR Lives. Will be wanting to set the marker really early here. After missing last week and losing the lead of the championship to Mag User, he'll be wanting to show what pace he's got really early and push Mag User to the limit, pardon the pun. And there's a few drivers coming out on track. Might be because of the track how long it is. I mean, all the drivers have to do essentially is set a decent lap here. We are only going to lose one more driver. We have only got 17 drivers in Q1, so with Sniz being out already, it means we will only lose one more, assuming everyone does put a time on the board, and we will ride on board with Livs, put a bit of pressure on the poor Aston Martin driver as he comes round and prepares himself now for his first push lap of Spa. Prepares himself really nice exit off the final corner, DRS wide open all the way down to turn 1. And apologies anyone that knows me, I know I struggle with corners around here on any track, so I will try my best to keep up. But Livs look like a bit of memory off to turn 1 there, and it's all about putting your foot to the ground and keeping the car as stable as you can for as you come to this twisty section of turns 2 and 3. That looked brilliant from Livs there. Car planted to the ground. DRS wide open. It's all about how much wings you're not running around here. I imagine we'll see some really high speed as he hits about 250 mph and brakes really late, but pulls the car in really nice into section 2. This is where your lower wings will not pay off. But it does look like very nice and clean currently. I am trying to get a track map up, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about this. Right, apologies, I am still trying to get a track map up here. This is really poor of me. As Livs is coming through turns 14 and 15 right now, ladies and gentlemen. And it's looking very clean from the Aston Martin driver. Coming through turn 16, takes the curb a little bit wide, but it still gets a good exit here. And now it's all about turn 17 and 18. That really isn't a corner in an F1 car, but you might have to lift slightly depends on the wings he's running. But takes it flat out. That looks nice and clean from the Aston Martin driver. Picks his brake point out for turn 19. Swings the car back around for turn 20. Looks like, yep, turn 20. And puts a 144.5 on the board, which is pretty representable. And our next driver of the line will be Aston Martin. No, it won't be. Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen. It will be the Ferrari of midfield Maestro. We will be followed closer by an Alpina by looks like as well, but rather above midfield Maestro as he comes through. Sets a 144.6, so 10th behind Livs, who set his lap first. Diamond Duchy sets a 144.8, 3 tenths off the pace. Collateral Lazarus unfortunately validated his lap. I'd love to see how he's managed to do that. I think we've got Jock who's coming across the line, goes fast, so 144.1. Brilliant lap for the LP driver there. So we've got more drivers coming over the line. Drobel goes quicker now for 143.7. We know the Red Bull driver's got a lot of pace in him. As we have got Bawley coming across the line now. Puts himself P6 at 150.9. Looks like he backed out of his lap at some point. Tiddlewinks invalidated again. Oh, keeping his invalidation streak going in qualifying, but he's going back round again. Looks like Henk also had the same issue. We've got Brad Mason who's jumping in the pits. That doesn't set a time. And I believe we've got Object Fungus who's crossing the line, set to 143.3, 4 tenths quicker than Drobel. What a lap from the Mercedes driver. And that is going to be a hard time to beat our record. As we look up down the field to see who's on a lap, we've got Juduve coming out. It'll be Mag User comes across the line next, I believe. Sorry, it was ETSR Jensen who set a 144 flat, pretty representable for the Red Bull driver. We've got Mag User, our championship leader, now coming from the final corner, who goes P3 for 143.80s, 5 tenths behind our Mercedes driver, Object Fungus. As we've got an Aston Martin coming final corner. That would have been Livs go to the pits. And I'm trying to find who will be next over the line. As we have got Bawley, who has unfortunately crashed out, coming through turn 16. It'll be interesting to hear from Bawley from there, but all the drivers have to do is beat a 150.9, and we will have a full 15 drivers through to Q1. So no drivers have to flex the muscles here. It's all about just getting a time and then beating that 150.9. As we see Henkers go P7. And as we know, all the drivers at this point, assuming they get a decent time on the board, will get themselves through to Q1. Unfortunately, after losing Sniz straight out of the pit and Bawley at turn... I keep forgetting the turn, so turn 16. As I have seen David Lawface has joined the race, so I am just going to... break while I get it to the party. Apologies about it, ladies and gentlemen, as I do have my co-cops in the party now. As I've got Julie Vane coming round the final set of colours, and as mentioned, all they've got to do is beat a 150.9 at this point, as we've got our 2 drivers out of Q1, unfortunately. So I'm not expecting this to be representable. Julie Vane, and he's set to 144.5. And welcome, kind Sir David Lawface, you are a saviour.
Good evening, everyone. You don't sound too great, TJ.
Yeah, I felt better.
rough weekend. Rough weekend, was it?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it was rough for definite. I felt better, but we move on. How are you on this fine Monday?
I'm perfectly fine, thank you. I'm just got home from work, and as Senatco has spun it into the wall.
Not ideal for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm doing good. I got home from work and had me dinner, and I thought, well, I'll hop on with you guys.
No, it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. As mentioned, the drivers don't need to put a representative lap as long as they get 150.9, and we have got Brad Mason that's going for Eau Rouge. Currently takes that pretty nicely, must say. The car looks very planted as it comes onto the camel straight now. And yeah, you imagine the drivers aren't going to flex too much now in Q1 and just want to put a time on the board and get themselves through to Q2.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still not 100% sure on what will qualify you to go above Bawley, but I would imagine all these drivers have to do is beat a 150, so it shouldn't be too bad for them. As yeah, we see more and more drivers dropping down. As usual, of course, Object Fungus on top, although Drobel underneath him looks like, yeah, he's done his lap on medium, so that's impressive from the Red Bull man.
I hadn't noticed that one, but yeah, that's very impressive Red Bull driver. Also, both Red Bull drivers, to be honest, both have a pretty decent laps out of the mediums. As Brad Mason has unfortunately invalidated his push lap.
Oh,
Not
yikes.
ideal from a McLaren driver.
Yeah, not
All you've
ideal.
got to do is beat a 150 here, Brad Mason. Come on, lad.
Yeah, you could easily do that. Turn your ERS off, and you'll be golden.
Yeah, definitely. As we've got a lot of lads coming through Sector 2 currently. Coming through the set corners through turns 11 now. Going to test out for Q1 or turn 12. And you imagine Clark Lads knows he's an experienced driver. He knows his future Q1 as long as he sets a decent lap. Although he has got his ERS on, so perhaps he was wanting to just put a bit of a test run through his setup and see where he does sit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I know collateral ads, and I do, I know this man is going to want a hot time. Although getting very squirrely there out of the second Stadlo. Comes around the back to Planchemont now. Nice and tidy, avoids the curbs. And now into the bus stop chicane.
Yep.
Didn't take
And
too many
bus-stop
risks
chicane.
on the curbs there, but should be a good lap. Oh, good enough.
Yep, a 144.7 for the Alfa Romeo driver. I do expect he's got more in the tank now, as David said. He looked a bit squirrely on the exit, the second stab lap, and perhaps did back out a little bit, and perhaps a few corners. So I do expect the Alfa Romeo driver to be a little bit higher, as we have got Seneco back out, and Brad Mason's jumped in the pits. I hope that hasn't. I think he's put a fresh set of softs on here. I don't think you need to do that, to be honest, Brad Mason. You could have probably done it on a worn set. I think you've just wasted a set there, lad.
Yeah, not ideal for the Ferrari man. You don't know. Having said that, he did spin quite a few times on those soft tyres. So maybe he just found it was too easy to light up the rears, or maybe the game selected the new set for him. You never know.
Yeah, that's always a possibility, as we have got Senate College fly lap now coming down to La Source, and Will Van on board the Ferrari drive, and looks like he's taking La Source very nicely there. Takes a little bit of curb on the entry, takes a lot of curb on the exit actually, looks like he's got a bit squirrely, but it's all about that setup for Eau Rouge and how ballsy you are, whether you keep it flat out. And Seneco has had to lift and coast slightly, coming through Eau Rouge, but look like the car's very squirrely indeed. The rear is looking very loose, which isn't ideal. But it's coming down the Camel straight now, and he'll pick his braking out, point out for 789, or better known as Lecombs. Sorry.
I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, very lucky there for the Ferrari driver.
It could go again
and
here.
All you have to do
exit.
here.
No.
All you have to do here is just set a 150, a 150.8, and you're through. And it looks like he did turn his ERS off ever so slightly, because it looks like he's regained some. But coming through, P1 looks very steady there indeed. And this is the point where he dropped it last time, I believe. And yeah, it looks like he's taking it very easy coming through Campos up to Stavlo. Yeah, it looks like he's taking it very easy indeed. Coming through his second Stavlo now. And it's all about picky brake point out. Put your foot to the floor through, I can't even say it properly, Blanchemont. I know David Lawface did the perfect pronunciation of that previously.
Oh no!
And he's invalidated it. Oh, Seneco, lads.
Yeah, he would have been safely through with that time. And he looks like he might be going again.
Yep, it certainly does, and I think, I think you need the RS valve. Perhaps a little bit of the RS on the straights, but through coming through Sector 2, you don't need it as much. We have got Brad Mason coming through P1 now. And all we have to do for these last two drivers is put just a 150 on the board, and you're through to Q2, lads. Don't need to take any risks here. As looks like we have got Tailwind back on track for some reason. I don't know why he decided he wanted to go again.
Well, he's come straight
But
back in.
hey up. Well worth the trip there, Tailwind. Congrats, lad. But we've got Brad Mason coming through Sector 3 now. And come to the point where Seneca just validated on his push lap.
Oh dear.
That's easy for Brad Mason there. All the way down to Bush Stop Chicane.
Got one more chance.
Point out. Oh, and does a perfect job there. DRS wide open, and he is safely through to Q2. And now it all rides on Seneca, who's invalidated again. Oh.
Yeah. It's not ideal for the Ferrari man. He's going to have one more chance, and he's running out of fuel. So.
Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I mean that doesn't bode well at all at this point. He hasn't got time to come back in the pits. He hasn't got the fuel to go around, and at this moment of time, you do feel Seneca is out of Q1.
Is it raining?
As a Ferrari driver, it could be raining.
It is definitely raining.
Oh, yeah, it is. So that's going to be interesting Q2, as Seneca does come into the pits, and unfortunately doesn't put a clean lap in, and gets himself knocked out of Q1, even though we had two drivers crash out. That is a shame for the Ferrari driver and doesn't bode well for his race.
Yeah, not ideal there from the Ferrari driver. He'll join Sniz and Borley in going out, taking the early bath. But everyone else, thankfully, is through, even if they don't want to retire in the pits.
Yep, to the Lincoln Object Fungus, if you are listening, please retire in the pits. Or you could just keep us here for the next minute, and we will talk absolute waffle. Either is fine.
Yeah. I don't have waffles that often, to be honest.
Wait.
I mean, I definitely, I could probably go for one right now, to be honest. Nice Belgian waffle, bit of whipped cream, bit of chocolate sauce.
Oh, it's gotta be, and I've had this once before. It's a Belgian waffle with toffee sauce and cut up bananas. It's gorgeous.
Up the nanas.
Way.
Oh dear. Jensen,
Yeah, and the
cue my retirement. Big announcement. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get through this, and yeah, we'll talk about that news that Jens has just put there. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Q1 is over, and we've already discussed the bottom three, but our bottom three out of Q1, even though it should be two, is Borley, Sniz, and Seneca. Very unfortunate for Sniz, who I'm still waiting to hear how he crashed straight out the pits. Must have dropped it slightly, but very unfortunate there for Sniz and Seneca. And we could be in for a very interesting Q2 if the rain does stick around.
Yeah, we could be in for a very interesting start to Q2. I think will it have rained enough to bring out the inters, or a driver's going to be fighting for a track position on pit exit, just trying to get the out there on the soft tyres, which of course will momentarily we'll find out whether or not it's fast enough. No, yeah, that looks like inters to me.
Yeah, it's definitely inters.
Never mind, we've been robbed.
Yep, definitely, and the drivers might not have been prepared for this, so we'll see who is. I mean, this could give an indication it's going to be wet base as well. Some of the drivers have decided to stick a wet setup over a dry setup, but we'll wait and see. But we will touch on that news that Jensen put in our Twitch chat, and he's announced over Instagram and to the racing world that ETSR Jensen is retiring from Formula One racing at the end of this season. I don't know which season that is, but he is retiring at the end of this season. An absolute massive loss. He's a very, very clear, very quick driver, and he will be sorely missed in TTL and there's other leagues he races in. and we wish you all the best for your future, obviously, Jensen.
Yeah, I can only echo. He sent me a nice message earlier, so yeah, genuine nice guy as well. So it'll be sad to see one less name on the grid in his many leagues he takes part in. But while he's here, let's make the most of it. The man's a rapid driver, so let's see him get some wins under his belt.
Yep, definitely. As he did have a meal for champions before he started racing as well. And anyone that was interested in his champion meal, it was bangers and mash with some baked beans. And he is set and ready to win this race for sure.
Yep, I can think of nothing worse to help me win a race. You're sitting there, like, just trying to concentrate, and all you can feel is the gas building up in your stomach. And the next thing you know, you're slowing down for the bus stop chicane, and you've accidentally sharted.
Yeah, that's not ideal at all. And hopefully he doesn't do that, but if you do, Jensen, I don't want details, but just say yes you have.
Yeah.
And we'll fully understand it.
Does that one count as a commentator's curse?
I think it does. I'm sure he'll fully enjoy that curse we've just given him.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have got drivers on fast laps now. We've got Perez coming through Eau Rouge, and I haven't got the telemetry up. That is very fraudulent to me, but it did look like he had to lift through there. Obviously, these wetter conditions, as he's DRS is obviously disabled on the wet, so he's coming down the Camel straight. It's all about seeing what wings he's got here, and it's looking like he's running some low wings there. He's getting about 205 miles per hour without the use of DRS. And it's all about, yeah, he doesn't want to put any pressure on the throttle at all. Very easy coming through Amseta corner side. As I've lost my track map, that's very fraudulent. Where are we on track? We're coming through 21, ladies and gentlemen. On the way to Pouan. And we'll see once again if he has to lift. Yeah, he has to brake and lift to come through Pouan. Very understandable in these wet conditions. But it's still looking like a very clean lap from the Williams driver. Pictures breaking out, points out for turns 13 out of 14. Another area where you can lose the rear, but he's been very gentle on his throttle control. Turn 15 coming through Stavlo all the way down to turn 16, Stavlo 2. And his throttle control is unbelievable. Keeping it very clean indeed. And it's all the way down now to turn 17, 18 and 19. And he does take a slight lift coming through turn 18 all the way down to the bus stop chicane now. Got a picky brake point out, so very nicely done there indeed. Decides not to cut the curb on entry, but cuts the curb on exit at turn 20. And all the way down to the line. And in the wet we've got 153.5, which I think that's pretty representative actually.
Yeah, it was a pretty good lap there from Prem, as Strobel embarrasses everyone else. But yeah, it looked really nice and clean, Prem, and he really looks to have adapted very well to the conditions. Of course, having not looked at Drobel's lap, I suspect he was pushing himself a fair bit more. But
yep.
I suspect what's going to happen now is some of the drivers will stay out for extra laps. They'll quite possibly maybe do a cool down lap and then go again. Might even see some get 2 in a row, as there's the man in the Mercedes. Stuck himself in P1 at the moment. Very close though between these top 2 drivers.
Yep, definitely. It's a trend we saw last week on Austria where Drobel did outsmart Object Fungus in the end. And we'll see if Drobel is holding anything back, because he can push Object Fungus long line. But it does let drivers are backing out and cooling down and gain a bit of VRS here, as David just mentioned. But it's looking very close between the pack. Especially from P4 all the way down to P9, where it's just covered by 4 attempts. And further back down to P11, it's 5 temps, so it's all to play for still in these early stages of Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. Do note that it looks like Tiddlewink's on a second flying lap. So he's just coming through no name now. He's I didn't quite catch his sector time, but he's carrying on with a lap, so he could very well be going green at the very least. Coming around into turn 13 now. That would be a late apex, which probably isn't the worst line in the world in the wet. And he's navigated it quite well. Missing the apex there of the first Stadlow. And importantly, not losing the rear out of the second. Let's see how big a lift. Oh, there's a small break there from Tiddlewink. Obviously, not taking any chances here. He's gone slightly wide at the first apex of the bus stop, but has navigated it. It should be faster, and that's 54.6, which puts him up a grand total of 1 position.
Yeah, I'm sure Tiddlewink could do better, but perhaps his wet conditions are catching him out. And while you were taking us around on Tiddlewink's lap, we saw Mike User put himself in P3 for 52.7. He decided to push again. We have got a few more drivers that are pushing around now. Collateral Lads is unvalidated and he's got no fuel, so we don't see him going quick at the moment. I do think we have got... I am trying to see... We've got Prem, who looks like he's on a slow down lap here, but he's got no fuel either.
Objects on a hot lap.
We'll jump on board of Object Fungus as he takes his round. Going through Sector 2 where we've got a few drivers ahead of him that have pulled to one side by the looks of it. But a bit squirrely in the exit there as he comes down to Puan. And he has got a slow moving Red Bull ahead of him where Hooper's got out the way as he comes through Puan. Very squirrely indeed on the... Oh!
Well held, that man.
Very well held by the Mercedes driver. He definitely won't want that again when he decides he wants to push again. The car just didn't want to grieve the way he was turning, and obviously, as we have got this Tiddlewink. Yeah, Tiddlewink was sideways across the track. Not ideal for the Williams driver.
Yeah, definitely not the optimum line from the Williams driver. And he'll be coming into the pits, I assume. Having not got much left in terms of fuel. I think we'll see Drobel also pitting. Baggies, of course, already in the pits. And Livs, I believe, is going for another hot lap in the Aston. Just check on the teammate. Yeah, he's pulled out.
Yep, so we'll jump on board of Livs, who's coming through Eau Rouge now. There's a slight lift coming through, obviously, in these wet conditions, but the car looking very stable. Comes on the panel straight now, and we'll see what top speeds he'll get without the use of DRS, and we've got a lovely view of the rear ring. Getting up to speeds of 208 miles per hour, which is suggests he's running lower rings than perhaps some of the others, but keeping it very nice and clean, coming through these tight corners of Sector 2, especially in these tricky conditions as well. Picking his brake point up, but he is very lenient on the throttle, doesn't want to put the throttle down, and that's the reason why the back end goes. He invalidates his lap, and very, very great good car control there to not put it in the wall.
Yeah, not bad in the end. Bit of a heart in mouth moment. Of course, just one small mistake, and that's your qualifying over. So this is gonna cool down, I assume. He probably was gonna go for another lap. Looks like he's got enough fuel. Although maybe his tyres need to cool down a bit after nearly losing it in Stadlow 2 there.
Yep, definitely. As we've got some drivers coming back out now who you imagine fueled up perhaps for a couple laps here, and these will be the last laps they do, you imagine. it's very critical they get the correct preparation and get the car in the zone they need and concentrate. As Livs does jump in the pits. Collateral Lads has retired
It's
in
like
the
in the
pits of a
pits.
153.5. Drobel understandably retires a 152.4. You imagine it's very safe for that, but Collateral Lads, surely that's a risk with that 153.5.
That's confidence for you. This man here improves by 4 attempts. He could be out as we're nearing the end of Sector 2. And he's 7 attempts down. And maybe it's got wetter. And to be honest, yeah, maybe it has. Rain seems to be coming down a lot more. And, well, I'm not seeing a lot of drivers put in better laps at the moment then. Looks like Junu's going to be nowhere with his lap.
Yeah, I've got to agree. It does look wetter for certain as I'm looking at some of the drivers and they are struggling with the rear all of a sudden. I am on board of midfield Maestro as he starts his flying lap and he doesn't want to put any throttle down at all. Which does back up what you've said, David, that the track does look wetter. We'll see what he does for Eau Rouge and how confident he is, and he does lift quite a bit. Yeah, I do think, unfortunately, he might lose Jimmy Vane, which is a shock. We'll see what Nathan Marshall does through sector 1. He is a 10th down, so yeah, the drivers haven't got the confidence or the grip they need currently. As Jimmy Vane is 4 temps up.
4.5 temps. There could be hope yet for Junu. Having said that, he does need to improve by 8 attempts to get 13th. And you can see the understeer, the lack of grip going around. Can't remember that corner name.
Yeah. Jump above as he comes through P1 and we'll see. Yeah, he's really early. Doesn't want to put. Oh, puts a bit
not
too
turning
much
in.
Down the rear. Yeah, that backs up what we said, David. That the track is definitely wet. The Junior Vane backs out of his lap, and yeah, you do imagine. Unfortunately, I think we're going to lose Junior Vane, which is a massive shock. Same as Henkers as well. He normally goes. I know we don't cover him much because he has a quiet race, but Henkers and Junior Vane both out in Q2, both shocks, and Henkers is going to try and pull a lap in here by looks of it. Let's see what the confidence the Aston Martin driver does here. As he comes down to turn 1, brakes really early there. Doesn't want to put the throttle down, and yeah, it's going to take a miracle lap here, I think, to see it through to Q3. Henkers comes through Eau Rouge, lifts off, and the car looks like it was leaning quite a bit, but stuck to the track. Coming down the Kettle Straight, and we'll see what sort of speeds we're looking at without DRS. About 206 miles per hour, which is pretty decent, that is. Coming through sector 2, and he runs a little bit wide and puts the throttle down. The rear end snakes. And yeah, I think that's over for Henkers.
Yeah, definitely. You could see the car did not want to turn coming into Les Combes, and it resulted in a little snap of oversteer as he tried to get those tyres to grip for him. Didn't quite work, and yeah, that's going to be his qualifying over today, as there is a McLaren, that's Junu Vane, who's gone round at Les Combes. So Junu Vane definitely out.
Oh, yeah, Brad Mason, the other McLaren driver, just took them, just done a 360 through Pruan. Very lucky not to pull off Jensen there. I think he might have backed out of his lap from that. That was definitely a heart and mouth moment for the Red Bull driver and McLaren driver.
And absolutely did just retire on track.
Oh, that isn't ideal, Brad Mason.
It's not ideal.
Why? Why, Brad Mason, why?
Tiddlewink
as
comes in.
Tiddlewink has dropped it. I think that's him that's dropped it coming through 2-1.
Oh yeah, he's not had a great day as Tiddlewink. Oh, Judo.
Oh.
I know he's 14th anyway, so it makes no difference if you pin it or not. You might get a new fresh set of intermediates if you drop it and take your wheel off. Maybe. Don't do that, obviously. But do make sure you've got heat in your brakes before you...
Oh, that is a fantastic 360 there, Julie Vane.
Yeah.
He knew he was on camera.
Yeah, the crowd are absolutely loving it as he slows down across the start-finish to wave to all of those poor Belgian sods sitting there thinking, it's bloody wet.
Yeah, definitely. As we have got our unfortunate 4 out in Q2, the likes of Junior Vane, Tiddlewink, Henkers and Brad Mason. Obviously the biggest shocks there is Henkers and Junior Vane both out in Q2. Henkers, who's normally we do expect both drivers to make their way through the pack and get themselves up into the points positions. But what an interesting Q3 we could be here for. Looked like the track was definitely getting wetter, and you do wonder at this time whether it'll be inters or whether the blue tyre wets will be shown in Q3.
Yeah, we could be in for the rush to get out that I was anticipating at the start of Q2. We could be doing that dance, although if it's anything like it was at the end of Q2, I'd say it's already too wet for the intermediate tyres. Let's take a quick check as the drivers are... Well, maybe it's...
And it looks like it's dried up actually.
Well, bugger me sideways, TJ. That is just...
Yeah, Jensen is looking at the soft tyres. Quite a lad's put a set of softs on. The drivers are debating it. And I can't believe we've just gone from a Q2 where the rain was getting heavier to a pretty much dry Q3. That is fantastic turnaround and then 5 minutes between the qualifying sessions.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This game just keeps delivering. Object Fungus obviously getting told wrong information from Mercedes and putting a set of wets on. I'm not entirely sure that's the way to go, but if you want to put a lap on the wets, we'll see what time you can do.
Yeah, so first man out then is going to be Douche.
Big up the dude.
Yeah, in the Alpine.
He doesn't want to risk a set of soft tyres, so he's gone with intermediates, as I am on board with him. Then the track does pretty much look bone dry. You've got a little bit of shine on it, but you imagine that once these inter tyres start clearing the track, the guys on the soft are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, and well, of course, I don't know how smart the game is, whether or not you actually the drying out of the track is dependent on cars going around it. I'm not entirely sure the game is that smart, but to be honest, as long as you don't drop it, there's no harm in going out on intermediates at the start of the session. Yep,
definitely get yourself a time on the board, get some Delta to go against, and we will see what happens for definite. I do move it. There is a bit of spray coming back off the back of the Alpine. Doesn't look like much though, but definitely could offset the slick tyres for certain. As Douche will be the first one to take us round, and he's got his foot to the floor. Or he's no DRS. DRS hasn't been activated yet. I noticed that. So we've got no DRS at the moment, so he's going down to turn 1. Very tentative on the brake and throttle there. Like coming down to Eau Rouge now, and we'll see what he does for Eau Rouge. He has to left, coming through a rouge. The car really didn't enjoy that in one bit at all. Like he did a bit of slide. Very lucky to keep it on track through there. Coming down the Camel Straight now. Sector 32 flat. Obviously, purple sector 1 is the first drive around. The track definitely looks like it's getting drier by the second now. And it looks like he's got the car very nicely planted through sector 2. As he comes to the corner where me and David don't know the name to, so we'll just call it the no name corner, even though there is a no name corner.
This one's no name. It's actually called No Name.
Fair enough. As he comes down to Rouge now and brakes early, puts his foot to the floor straight away as the car goes round the corner. And you do wonder at this point why the DRS hasn't been activated, as the track is looking very clear.
Well, you say that. I mean, there's specks of rain still on the screen. It looks to be localised around the track, maybe around Pouhon. But there is still some rain in the air. Could we see an Imola situation? Of course, Imola in real life rather than in any other races. could the FIA completely bottle it, and do we not put the ERS on as Diamond Dushi sets a 1:52.1? So importantly, that is faster than Objects and Drobel did in Q2. So I say we're definitely not far away from the dry running that a couple of drivers seem a bit overly eager for.
Yeah, you do imagine if we're going to see a dry tyres, it's probably only going to be the one run, and I think you'll be cutting it very finely indeed. So it is going to be a last minute decision, you imagine. We've got Jock coming around, puts himself P4 for 52.7. We got Prem coming around sector 3 now. And the track is definitely clearing second by second as the drivers are pushing the water out the way. Perhaps the game is a little bit smart with, as the cars go around, the track gets drier. Anyway, as he goes to bus stop chicane, cuts the first part of bus stop chicane very nicely, takes a lot of curb on the exit, foot to the floor, and we'll see what Prem can put in here. Puts himself P4 with a 52.2 for both Prem and Jock. Look like they're struggling with these drying conditions potentially. One of the tyres beginning to overheat just a little bit. As we've got Millfield Marshall now, who's coming back around the lap. He's already done a lap, so perhaps he invalidated at some point. His ERS levels are low though, so we'll see what the Ferrari driver can do. As we have got another driver who's deciding to put a set of softs on. Some drivers are only going to get themselves potentially one run here, and we'll see if that is enough for definite. As Millfield Marshall's coming through sector 2 now, just taking out Pouhon very nicely indeed. Coming through Stavlo 1, and we'll see what his delta is for sector 2. A 1:21.6. Coming through Stavlo, okay, got Stavlo 3 down, Stavlo 2. All the way down now, foot to the floor. And we'll see if he does still need to lift or not. A slight lift and brake, but it wasn't much of a brake or lift there. Picking his point up for the bus stop chicane. Takes the curb on the entry and dives straight in the pits actually.
Yeah, I think that is a good indication that now is the time for the softs.
Yep, definitely. And you do wonder if these drivers are potentially waiting for that magic message from the FIA of DRS enabled. You do feel it is that cutover point, and for some of these drivers they will only get one run in with 4 minutes 40 left on the clock.
And surely the tactic is to go as late as possible. But at the same time, that also leaves us with nothing to commentate over.
That is very true. That is very true indeed. Yeah, as we see more drivers putting a set of softs on, and as you say, who's got the who will leave it the latest to go out. You don't want to be caught one of the first ones out, but then you don't want to be, but then you don't want to leave yourself no time to go around. Midfield Maestro flicking between the tyres. The Ferrari team still don't know what strategy they want to go on. So we expect midfield Maestro definitely set wets, as the Ferrari strategy doesn't have a clue, and will expect heavy rain.
Yeah, well, there is a slight rain cloud around 50 kilometres east of Spa at the moment. Oh no, wait, no, that's just someone having a bonfire. Never mind.
Yep, and the Ferrari strategist has told midfield Maestro the set of wets is the one to go on.
Absolutely.
And they've bolted the wets on for the time being.
Yeah, and there's that magic
DRS
message.
enabled. Will we see any drivers come out now, or all of them going to try and chicken each other and wait to see who can leave it the latest?
Yeah, I'm expecting to see drivers maybe come out 2 minutes 30 at the latest. It's not going to be ideal if all 10 come out at the same time. Someone will miss out.
But Mercedes have realised the softer tyre to go on, so it's just Ferrari.
Oh, perhaps they were duking out with. Perhaps they were seeing. It's like the guy you sit next to in school that you're pretty sure is copying you. So what you do is you write the wrong answer to a question, and you see if they put that same answer. And that is definitely what Ferrari are doing today.
Yeah, definitely indeed. As we see both Red Bulls come out very nicely in sync, and the rush to come out to track has started. All the cars are piling out to the pit lane.
And if you haven't gone by now, I think you might be in trouble.
Yep, definitely. I think it is. I think everyone's made it out now. Lives is going to leave us very late, I think.
Yeah. If he comes out, he's probably even if he does a racing lap right now, he's only going to have a couple of seconds, I think, and that's assuming no one in front of him is taking the mick as Livs cuts the chicane at the top of the hill. So rally on. And getting very aggressive with the racing line, should we say.
Yep, Liz knows he's got to get the way round, but he is going to cut to the back in the Mercedes of Object Fungus. But we will jump to the front with Grobel, who's the lead of the Red Bulls, swerving to get temperature into the tyres. There is still a little bit of rain in the air coming off, as you can see on board now with Grobel. Jensen has packed the back up a little bit here, as I'm assuming he's trying to build a bit of a gap up and perhaps save them tyres for these laps. But this is going to be very interesting indeed.
He is definitely holding up as they comes towards Blanchimont now.
Yep, there's 30 seconds on the clock, and Object Fungus and Livs could seriously miss out here as the full pack is backing off. But we will ride on board the Drobel.
Oh, we're going to see some fights here.
And Drobel has started his lap down to turn 1, picking a decent braking point out there. And they are keeping an eye on the track, and the Aston Martin has...
Oh no! Jock's missed out! Livs has just about got his lap started. But yikes for Jock. Oh,
shame there for Jock, but there was always a risk of going out so late. But Drobel coming down Camel Straight now. Purple sector line, as you'd imagine. Looking very comfy indeed on these soft tyres now. Looks like the rain has stopped, and he is absolutely thrown it in and out of every corner. Coming up to the no-name corner now, as he's got his teammate right behind him, giving them a bit of dirty air, but we get a nice toe coming down sector 3. Coming to Pruon now, Drobel throws it in, looking very confident indeed. fueled up for the minimum that he could. As he comes all the way through, all the way to Stavlo now. And we'll see what sort of sector time he's set for sector 2. Obviously, it'll be a purple 1:14.9. His teammate is right behind him. He's still kept that purple sector 2 though. All the way down sector 3 now. All the way to the bus stop chicane. No lift required. Coming through turn 18. Coming to turn 19, the bus stop chicane. And we'll see these times coming thick and fast, ladies and gentlemen. And the time to beat at the moment is a 1:14.2. Jensen set to 1:43.3.
So Douchey and Libs have both invalidated, so they will be P9 and 10, no doubt, or not.
Yeah, Object Fungus.
He's invalidated as well.
So the Red Bull Boys take a 1-2 around Spa. Both first out on track. Both played it very nicely there. And what a shambles for some of the drivers, well, from P7 downwards. But here's the top 10. We got Drobel on pole. Jensen, his teammate in P2. Mike Hughes, our championship leader in P3. Cloud Lads P4. Krem P5, Midfield Maestro P6, Lives in P7 who invalidated his last run, Diamond P8 who also did the same, Jock who missed out on the line by a millisecond, didn't set a lap, and Object Fungus who invalidated at some point along the way, starts P10.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a few complaints from drivers, maybe not quite being as sportsmanlike as they should have been there. Almost certainly a little bit of holding the pack up from the two Red Bull drivers out in the front, but it's worked very well for them. They are P1 and P2.
Yep, as it looks like someone may have redded up here potentially, which I hope isn't the case. As you were saying, some drivers aren't happy. We have got Diamond Douche in the chat saying he was overtaken and his lap was ruined. Not ideal at all. And from the comment I've just seen, someone has definitely redded up early. That's not ideal at all. I hope you've caught that, Douche. No one been able to set the strategies properly. We've got a couple of drivers that managed to put set hards out here, but majority on the mediums. I imagine we've got a lot of drivers that want to go for a toilet break or a comfort break, and that looks like the case for Tiddlewink. But Will wants to go very quickly here. He's going to start some nice cold tyres into turn 1. But in P17 we got Sinetco, P16 we got Sniz, P15 we got Borley, P14 we got Junior Vane, P13 we got Tiddlewink, P12 we got Henkers, P11 we've got Brad Mason, P10 we've got Object Fungus, P9 we've got Object Fungus as well supposedly, P9 we've got Jock, and Matt's ahead of his teammate as well. We've got Diamond Douche. Looks like he's got a bit of lag there, so I hope that doesn't affect the race too much.
Oh, not again.
In P8, we've got Lives. We've got Midfield Manager in P6, Karem in P5, Loud Lads in P4, our championship leader, Magusa in P3, and the Red Bull team occupying the top 2 spots. We've got Jensen, who had that meal for the champions, obviously helped him out to get that P2. And then we have got the Red Bull of Drobel in our top position. And if you don't mind, David Lolface, I am quickly just going to run to get myself a drink to help my throat out.
Yeah, no problem, Tidjum. And so while TJ's following around the leader on this formation lap, I'll give you a quick tyre update, as you can see on the screen. We're looking at a 1-stop today. And a majority of the drivers opting to go mediums to the hards. Quite often can go in your favour, especially if there's an early safety car. But the 3 drivers on the hard tyre looking to go long, and that is Prem in P5, Jock in P9, and Object in P10. And yeah, they'll be looking to go long, not hoping for an early safety car. And well, let's see what happens on the opening lap as the last of the cars now just coming towards bus stop chicane. I think that's Bally going a little bit rallycross, channeling his inner Valtteri Bottas as he overtakes the Ferrari of Senetco. And yep, so the drivers now forming up. Let's see how many get the big disqualify. None so far. It's looking pretty good. Tiddlewink, of course, on the didn't get to pull away, so that's his DSQ. As literally everyone else manages to stop in their grid slot. I think you're back now,
Yeah,
Tejan.
that's fantastic. I'm back. We got 5 red lights, and the way they go, they weren't held for long at all. Drobel gets a good stop, but Maggie's got even better start, and Maggie's going to look for the lead into turn 1. Pilar lads almost going to the back of Maggie's.
Oh.
I think we got a spinner already.
Yeah, there's a big pile up at La Source.
Oh.
And it looks like Libs has really lost out there. And Sniz as well. Sniz getting past there by midfield Maestro.
Oh, Jensen's chopped it for Eau Rouge.
Midfield Maestro is also in the wall. Not looking very impressed with the way he did that, personally, but we go on. So just the local yellows at the moment in Sector 1. Surprisingly.
Yeah. I am very surprised at that, considering the amount of accidents we've just had, and hopefully whatever you saw, David, there is an explanation for what Midfield Marshall did there. But the big loser for definite is Jensen lives an Object Fungus. Absolute disastrous start for the 3 drivers there. And our championship leader, Magus, are sitting very comfortably in P2. And will be looking to extend his lead over Livs, who is out of the points as it stands.
Yeah, and not an ideal start for Jensen as midfield Maestro leaves the session. Looks like the other Ferrari of Senetco is also having issues. So yeah, Jensen making up a position of what is not an ideal first lap, you could definitely say, but he has no damage. And I'm sure he'll look to make up some positions. Interestingly, another fast boy, Object Fungus, unable to make up any time. Currently on the hard tyres, they're clearly not working for him right now. He's also picked himself up a 5 seconds, which I can only assume was for the incident at turn 1. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to serve that 5 seconds, so he's got a lot of work to do so far.
Yeah, definitely. Brad Mace also with 5 seconds as well. I think he picked up in the same incident, but as Plato lads picks off a time penalty already. Such a fraud on lap 2.
Oh yikes!
It's going to be a long race for the Alfa Romeo driver, but Diamond is over the back of the rear wing of Prem, pretty much pushed him through the corners, and them hard tyres just don't look like they're switched on at all at the moment. Prem struggling on them, Object Fungus obviously struggling on them. Obviously they'll get the advantage in the long run, but at the moment they're definitely not working. As we've got a few battles up and down the track currently. We've got Bally and Tiddlewink chasing down Brad Mason. But our closest battle is Diamond on the back of Prem, and he is pushing the Williams driver around every corner and gets the overtake done off the exit of, I can't remember the colour name, as Plato Lads has dropped it.
Yeah, looks like he dropped it coming out of Stadlow. Very easy to do, very easy to lose a wheel there. As Drobel comes across the line, sets fastest lap.
Yeah, DRS enabled now. and I'd expect Damandushi to get the move done on Prem, coming through the Camel Straight with DRS, but we'll wait to see what happens there, as it's all status quo for the rest of the drivers currently.
Object is going to have a look on Sniz, I think. No, not quite on the exit of La Source, but he's going to be another one. Maybe he's got those tyres switched on at the moment, but the gap in front of Sniz is 4.5 seconds. So Object again needs to get a move on. Sniz indeed cannot fight it.
Oh!
There's Jensen though. Trying to go around the outside, and there's contact. And yeah, Object goes back through, squeezes Jensen on the exit for good measure.
Oh!
Senetco in the wall, and that is a virtual safety car.
Yeah, not ideal at all. I think Senetco dropped it, and Sniz just hit the Ferrari that was lying across the track. And not a good day for the Ferrari boys at all. Both out already by lap 3. They'll be having some words down there for definite. I'm not quite sure it was anyone's fault at that point. But what a move from Object and Jensen. Obviously 4 wide going down on the Camel Straight. Very quick VSC coming in there. But do you think Object Fungus going to give Jensen a bit more space? Or do you think he was just trying to push it and get Jensen to back up when he got pulled off track?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit more space could have been given, but it's up to Jensen to pass safely. That's not really a place you traditionally see a pass, and we can see still, although Object quite possibly switches tyres on, Jensen's got fresh mediums, and they will be faster at this point. And I tell you what, I think he's going to continue to defend, especially going down the Camel Straight this lap. And speak of the devil, and they will. Oh, Bully's out.
Oh!
There it is on the right, top of Eau Rouge, Radion. And also Junu Vane's out as well. He's crashed second Stablo.
That was a very late pull for a safety car. Just to be able to mention that Junu Vane went out at Stablo before Borley did. And we had 2 cars on track out at different points of the track. And the FIA leaving it very late to bring a safety car out there. But we're lap 4 already. We've lost 4 drivers. And it's not looking great at all. I imagine we're going to see a couple of these drivers, Object Fungus, perhaps Brad Mason, jump in the pits to serve their 5-second time penalties. But drivers are definitely struggling to keep the cars on track around here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a real struggle for these hard runners if they're running low tyre pressures, like I suspect they will. They are running. It's going to be really hard for them to keep those tyres turned on during the safety car period. They'll be most likely the guys at the front, and they won't pit. I think everyone else should be in for the hards. We'll find out all too soon. As Drobel now.
Yep, definitely.
First man in the pits. Mag User follows. Diamond follows. Prem stays out. Brad Mason comes in. Oh, Tiddlewink stayed out. That's... Yeah, Tiddlewink stays out then.
Yes, it doesn't surprise me to see the medium runners in to put the set of hards on. They should make the end, but that is a weird choice from Tiddlewink, as Magu's just coming for a set of softs. And you imagine that's a mistake as well.
Well, no, because you saw the struggles that the drivers had getting those hard tyres to switch on. Okay, it might be under safety car at the moment, but let's say the safety car's in this lap. There's no way those hards will be up to temperature. Mag User's tyres will be absolutely raring to go. So maybe we're looking for a little bit of gamesmanship from those at the back. Maybe they're going to take their time catching up, help them warm their own tyres up a little bit. as collateral ads went a little bit wide there on the exit of Radion. And, well, he's got to be careful. He's already got 1 time penalty. Don't want to start racking them up.
Yeah, definitely. As we've got inside information from Object Fungus that he's having a bit of a nightmare of a race. He did have front wing damage and a 5-second penalty, and on top of that, he's also got rear wing damage. Not ideal for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, and well, that leaves the sole Mercedes Object Fungus out. He's currently in P10. He's on fresh medium tyres. So strange that he has chosen. I think from here that probably means it's a one-stop. It'll be the mediums to maybe a set of softs towards the end. They're probably only going to go 4 or 5 laps. We'll get better data on that when Maggie's has a few laps under his belt. We haven't had the call for safety car in this lap, so out it stays again, and to the relief of many a hard tyre runner.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a bit of a shame safety car not coming there. I think they could have come in, but hey ho. The FIA they know best, obviously. As we see the hard tyre runners weaving side to side to build the temperature up into them tyres that David Loveface mentioned. And yeah, they'll be wanting to try to get as much temperature to them tyres as they can. Mag user protecting the tyre life on them softs, not wanting to pump any extra heat in them at the moment. No doubt we'll see him start weaving towards the back end of the track if the safety car does come in this lap. But very smart there for Mag user to try to protect them softs at the moment.
Yeah, there's one driver not weaving, it is that man. He's presumably doesn't need to, and yeah, as you say, TJ's got to protect them at all costs. I expect to see him rapid from this restart and quite possibly overtaking Drobel and Jock, although Drobel will definitely want to attack Jock on the restart, and that will leave the 2 Williams, currently at Williams 1-2 at the moment, I should add. That will leave them maybe in a good position to get away. But let's see what Prem's got on these used hard tyres, whether or not Tiddlewink bothers to fight, or whether or not he chooses to just sit behind. So many questions, so little time. When I say little time, we've still got half a lap yet, mate.
Yeah, I know Tiddlewink too well, and he definitely won't sit behind his teammate. He'll try to make a move in the worst place possible, potentially.
Laycom.
And get it stick.
Laycom, calling it now.
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep our eyes on Tiddlewink. I do expect him to make the move for definite. I can't see him sitting behind his teammate if he's got the better pace, which he should do on them medium tyres. I can see Prem keep weaving side to side, trying to get some heat and keep heating some tyres as the safety car does come in. So Prem is effectively the safety car and backing the pack up very nicely here. And we'll just put the telemetry on just to see when he does decide to go, and he's got to give the safety car enough time to get in. Keeping the pack going very nicely here. And you'll do wonder when he will go. He'll perhaps leave it to the bus stop chicane and try and get a quick one on his teammate behind him. Because Tiddlewink looks like he's dropped back quite a bit actually. He's almost a second behind already. And I do think Prem has gone. Yep, Prem has gone for definite. Tiddlewink was caught snapping slightly there. Already second behind his teammate. Looks like Jock was also caught sleeping there. But all of them do keep status quo coming down to turn 1. And that was a fantastic restart from Prem. Caught the rest of the pack sleeping and perhaps warming the tyres up. But it is pretty crucial from this point onwards that Mag user tries to get some quick overtakes on here. All over the back of Drobel.
Whoa!
Oh!
Oh, big yikes. Jock somehow still alive,
Oh,
but he's got a 5 second, which I don't really think is entirely fair.
no, it's not. There is nothing Jock could have done there. Really unfortunate. And that is our championship leader out. And this is the perfect opportunity for Libs to retake that championship lead now. But absolute heartbroken for Mad User there for definite. As Object Fungus looks like he's dropped it. Has he come together with Brad Mason there? I think there's been a contact between him and Brad Mason there by the looks of it.
Yeah,
Not going well from Mercedes driver.
Yeah, Jock is still going. Just about, it looks like Brad Mason is missing his front wing, so it's going to be a pretty long way back to the pits for him. And he's going to, at the very least, get off those god-awful hard tyres.
Yep, definitely. As I'm on board of Drobel, he's looking like he wants to make him on Tiddlewink down to the bus stop chicane. Tiddlewink tries to cut him off. Tiddlewink has to concede the place, so going through the entry, but gains it back on the exit. I imagine Tiddlewink's going to try and fight this down to turn 1 though. But Drobel, on the pressure tyres, on the hard tyres actually, is going to try and hang it through turn 1, and does.
Or puts him off wide just for good measure, but looks like Tiddlywink's got the pace coming down the hill, and he gets back his P2.
Yep, as Object Fungus jumps in the pits, I imagine to replace that front wing he had damage on. Drobel was looking for a move on Tiddlewink there, but decides to back up as the camera. Oh!
That was a bit of a send and Tiddlewink's round.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that one. Tiddlewink might feel very hard done to for definite. But I think there was space there, and it was just the curb that spun the Williams driver. But Drobel were now hunting down Prem, and I do feel this is Drobel's race to lose at this point.
Yeah, big shout out to Jensen, who's worked his way back up. He's now in 4th position, chasing down the douche in P3 at the moment, occupying that last podium position. But it's been a really good recovery thus far from Jensen, and
yeah,
he's
definitely
overtaken quite a few to get back where he is. A little bit of luck with a safety car maybe, but with 14 laps to go, he is in P4 and gaining on the diamond.
Yep, Snares just had a moment coming through Stavlo 1, spun round, put himself on the baseline. Tiddlewink had to do some very last minute dodging, but doesn't cause any incidents. As DRS is enabled after 2 laps after the safety car. Lives is all over the back of Hankers here. And I think Hankers has let his teammate through. Very nicely done there, and I think Hankers knows he is a slow driver, perhaps needs the DRS to pull him along a little bit to try and get past Collateral Lads. But with 12 drivers left, Snares is retired in the pits. He's called it today.
Yeah,
I think it's been a bit too many incidents here. As we see Jensen get the move on Diamond coming down with Camel Straight. DRS obviously very powerful around here, coming down that back straight. Diamond didn't fight that too much, knows his fight isn't there. As I was saying, it's been a very instant-filled race, and I think we have been robbed of some good racing around here.
Oh, Snizz's car's come out on track. It's going down down the hill, down into Radion. I really hope it pulls out of the way, or Brad has seen it. He has. Oh no, that is the worst place in the world you could park. Oh! I correct myself. That's a pretty bad place to park as well, Mr. Brad Mason.
Not ideal on them medium tyres for definite. As Diamond Douchey dropped it coming through Stavlo too.
Oh, Douchey, what are you doing, laddie?
That does mean everyone that finishes at this point will get a point at least, assuming they don't hit the stricken.
As long as they get past Douchey.
Yeah. And there's a safety car out. We're 9 laps and we've had 2 safety cars. We have lost 7 drivers. And Brad Mason picked himself a drive-through up under the safety car. And this has been an absolute disastrous race.
Oh, he's having to reverse because of the delta. What is that?
Oh my god.
Does that even work?
I am so sorry, Brad Mason. They are meant to have fixed that glitch, and obviously they haven't.
Oh, yikes. To be fair, it could have been legit. He did look like he was going a little bit hell for leather just after he got the drive-through. But yeah, he did then have to regain that delta, so I suspect he was probably about 10 seconds over, so...
I mean, as it stands now, everyone's overtaking the stricken car of Douche, and everyone will receive at least a point from now onwards.
Yeah. We've seen a few drivers in the pits in the meantime, putting on what is the new second set of mediums available to them.
Yep.
Drobel, Prem, Collateral Ads and Lives, as well as Jock and Object, opting to put on the fresh set of medium tyres. And, well, that's going to make things interesting towards the end, or even at the restart, because I suspect these guys might not have an answer. That's Jensen and Henkers.
Oh, yep. Brad Mason's having a nightmare. Oh, Brad Mason. Oh,
he did,
dear.
didn't he? In quali and the race.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad
we
Mason.
will be clipping that one.
I suspect.
That is.
Will he still get his point? I mean.
Oh, I can't recall what happened. What is that?
What?
I can't recall what happened. It's on the stream. I can get it from
It's on the stream. I've prepared a clip. I don't know if it will go back far enough, but it might just be us talking about him retiring on track.
Yep. That's fine. I mean, I'm gonna say it now. This is probably the worst Division 1 race we've had in TTL, with the amount of DNFs, and I don't think it's been poor driving standards. I think it's just been very unlucky, and perhaps the nature of the track.
There's a lot of places to bin yourself at this track. Not to mention this one. The Object's going up now. Glad I didn't curse him there. Yeah, Overeach, Radion, very easy to slip at the top. You could be going into the wall on the right, wall on the left, and Jensen now. Lacom, in Lacom, very easy to spin it here. On the exit of the complex, another good place to spin on the outside. Quite hard to spin here, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Around the school. You can make a hash of this corner and go into the wall on the right. By the way, this is an official DNF tour of Spa. Take too much curb on the inside of Puon. Can definitely send you round and into the left-hand wall there. You could also just go careering off to the right and end up in that outside wall. We've already seen it today in this corner. You take too much of that curb, you're on the right-hand wall there. And once again here, take too much of the left-hand curb, you're in the wall on the left. Also, you can go wide and touch the wall there. Now through Stadlow, gravel on the outside. But this is a real killer, this corner. Not so much the entry curb, but the exit curb. You've really got to not turn on that curb, or you will be going to the right and in the wall as I can't remember who did, but it's definitely very easy to do around here. And yeah. Also, I do want to say, of notable mention, you can definitely bin it at Blanchimont. Take too much curb, or maybe in changeable conditions, you're in that wall, and yeah. Obviously, some drivers like to try and go side by side there. Not ideal, as I think Jensen's already gone, and Henkers will not be caught out by that.
Oh, Drobel.
Oh, what happened to
Drobel's
Drobel?
dropped it on the restart. Oh. Anyway, yeah, Jensen gets away very nicely there. As the cars are sandwiched in the Red Bull sandwich right now. Jensen in P1, Drobel in P9. Our 9 remaining races. Surely we can't have any more safety cars with 9 races left. I've just definitely cursed this race. But Jensen is pulling the gap on Henkers already. And yeah, I think I'm not surprised that Henkers looks like he has struggled this race. I don't think he's got the balance in the car right. And I do expect that gap to continue growing as Object Fungus gets a move on Tiddlewink at the back end of the Camel Straight. And I do wonder if we'll see a last push on these mediums, on these fresh mediums from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, and we saw initially the front two get a very good start coming over the line. There was about a 1.5 second gap. You can see the tyre difference now as Prem is cut that down to 0.6 of a second now into the 0.5s momentarily, and right behind Prem is Collateral Ads, who himself is no slouch. He's got the pace. Has he got the racecraft? Can he keep it within the track limits? You never know. Stranger things have happened. And right behind him, of course, is Henker's teammate, is Livs. So Livs doing pretty well. Jock, of course, in P6, about 3 seconds back. He's currently defending from Tiddlewink. So, right. Object Fungus has had an issue and now finds himself behind Drobel.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Object Fungus. I didn't quite see it. Tiddlewink has dropped another place, and I think he's beginning to. Well, them hard tires just haven't come up to temperature for him as he expects. But yeah, Jensen is 2 seconds ahead of Henkers. Livs is making place stuff as well now. Gets overtake done on Prem. Down the back end of the Camel Straight, and as it stands, Livs does retake the championship lead from Mag User. So it keeps trading places with 5 rounds left to go. But anyway, we've got Collateral Lads who will definitely. Oh.
It's almost as if it was as soon as you said his name, it's like.
Yeah, so Collateral Lads definitely not be getting a pole on the podium. With them 6 seconds of time penalties now. Our only driver to have any time penalties, which is an absolute shame. But you never know, if we perhaps clear the Aston Martin of Henkers, he could still potentially get a decent finishing place here. But Henkers is doing a Perez and holding up the rest of the drivers as much as he can.
Alternatively, only 6 more drivers have to crash before Collateral Ads is going to get a podium. I definitely shouldn't say that, but I don't care.
No. Collateral Lads is looking very desperate to get moved on Henkers here.
He's taking the tyre line.
Around turn 1. Ooh! The back end slips on him. Perhaps trying to push a little bit too much, getting frustrated, but Livs is on the back of Collateral Lads now as well. And which driver can keep it clean coming through Eau Rouge? All 3 drivers do. But will Henkers do anything to hamper Collateral Lads coming down the Camel Straight and perhaps help his teammate out? Livs pulls up to the side. Collateral Lads side by side coming at the end of the Camel Straight. Gets the move done on Henkers. Very nice done there. And Henkers, I think, is going to move out to the side. Oh, Livs almost drops it coming through the back end of turn 8 there, I think it is. But it is now in the podium place of P3. And I do wonder if he'll now turn his attention to try and get the move done on track against Collateral Lads. And set his sights and perhaps getting the race win.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the best strategy would be at the moment. Of course, he's got two options. He can maybe see if Collateral Ads has got a bit more pace about him, whether or not he can potentially catch up to Jensen, or he's going to have to try and get the move done if Ads can't make up the time difference, and if he wants any chance of getting the win today. Of course, Jensen on 9-lap old hard tyres, they will be switched on, but they're just not as fast as these mediums are at the moment. The gap's staying around 2.2, 2.3 seconds so far.
Yep. As Object Fungus isn't doing much damage on them at the back of the pack, so I think that rear wing damage is really hampering them. Drobel as well isn't making much progress on his medium tyres, perhaps maybe try and protect him, but with the guys ahead of him in DRS on the back hampering his progress. But I think as it stands, it is Jensen's to lose, assuming the medium tyre does start to drop off in the next couple of laps.
Yep, Liv's unable to get close enough to Collateral Ads down the Kemmel Straight, although it is quite obvious there's a discrepancy between the two in terms of ERS. I'm looking at Liv's, who is on 84, 86%, and I'm pretty sure if I jump forward I'm going to see an Alfa Romeo on, yep, nearly single figures, 17%.
Yeah, I think it's only about time for Livs gets the move done on the Alfa Romeo. There is a bit of a train behind him, so he'll have to be very careful how he defends and tries to keep Livs behind or lets him through. But Drobel is gaining time now on Prem as well. This is going to be a 5-man as Object Fungus at the back of the pack picks himself a time penalty, which doesn't surprise about rear wing damage. But we are potentially going to have a 5-man train here. And it could be very interesting, depends on how everyone works together.
Yeah, it looks like at the moment Collateral Ads penalty will take him down into P8. P7? No, P7 it will take him down to.
Yeah.
So not all is lost, and to be fair to him, apart from the penalties, he's driven a pretty good race, and he's up where he is on merit, but past comes Livs as the DRS proving too much for the Alfa Romeo. And now Livs is going to get ready to... Oh, Ads has dropped it.
Oh. Yep, cut the back end to that. And he's going to move to the race line as quick as he can. Yep, goes.
That was so close. How did he not?
Lads, who, yeah, I don't know how he kept that from not hitting another driver, but that would be Lads facing back of the pack. Well, I'd say that Tiddlewink has just dropped it.
Yeah.
Absolute fraud.
Yeah, Tiddlewink was going side by side with Object Fungus. Just after Tiddlewink, he did go a little bit wide at the hairpin before, maybe struggling a little bit with his tyres, going side by side through No Name. It looked like he really struggled. It looks like he's struggling at the moment. He's kept it going in a straight line. Now he's still in P9. Just hold on, Tiddlewink. You get your team some points today, and you never know what might happen.
Yep, definitely. As Jock does a bit of ascending to the bus stop chicane on Henkers, loses the rear on the exit. Henkers hasn't got the DRS here, so he's going to lose position down to turn 1. But Henkers is absolutely doing a fantastic job of holding the pack up. Well, the car's behind him, but I think them hard tyres are hitting the cliff. compared to his medium tyres. But one driver that's definitely looking like he wants to get him moved on and get himself back up the grid is Drobel. It looks like he's just had a moment through Eau Rouge. And that is a full-on comms curse. I do apologise. And collateral lads, ladies and gentlemen, picked himself up another corner cut penalty.
Fantastic there. Yeah, I jumped back right at the correct moment. I saw Drobel in La Source absolutely sending it on Henkers, and fortunately enough there was no contact, but yeah, it looked like a hell of a dive bomb and there just wasn't quite enough time.
No!
Oh, Ads has binned it.
And it's a safety car. We had 9 races, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got another safety car. Oh, I mean, it should give an interesting end to the race here. I imagine we're going to see everyone jump in for a potential set of fresh softs.
Yeah, anyone for a 5-lap sprint?
Yeah. I don't think Jensen will be too happy about that, because I think Livs has got the pace over him in this race, personally.
Well, everyone's going to be on the same tyre, and yeah, I think we're just going to have to see how it goes. Unfortunately, due to Magusa not completing any racing laps on those softs, I don't really have any good data to give you about how long they're going to take. My initial feeling is 5 or 6, quite possibly even 4, but I know it's not many. And yeah, we will see. Absolutely everyone in the pits, teams double stacking, and well,
yeah.
Who's going to lose out here? I think Tiddlewink's going to be all right. He's far enough back. And he will be able to catch up. So the people really losing is, well, Henkers and Drobel. Drobel is still behind Henkers. But the difference is Prem is now above both of them, up into P4. And Jock at the moment, the impressive P3.
Yeah, fantastic from Jock there. I do wonder if they don't keep that there. They'll have a very hungry Drobel who's going to want to make some possessions up here.
Yeah, he does have that 3-second penalty as well, which is not working in his favour. But yeah, unfortunately, we can no longer do a counter to how many people need to crash for collateral ads to get a podium, because unless a lot of people get disqualified, you might get a podium. Nah.
Yeah. No, that's not happening. Nah, can't see that happening.
Well, let's be honest. You know what game we're playing, right?
Oh, I know. We'll probably get some that they did use the correct tyre compound or something. Everyone gets disqualified. I hope I just haven't cursed that. I really haven't cursed that. But anyway,
yeah.
Object Fungus in P7, the man who seems to have been caught up in every incident and has got re-wing damage, has somehow still got that merit going. I mean, that's fantastic.
He's got himself a 3-second time pen, so that might relegate him towards the back of the pack for the results. But we know he's got some good pace on his day, so maybe he can push just that little bit more. Maybe pick up some decent points today. And yeah, safety car stays out for another lap. So predictions, TJ. Are you still going for Livs to really go at Jensen here towards the end and maybe pick up the win?
I am, yeah. I do think Jensen's got a lot of pace in him, but Livs has been a little dark horse throughout this season, and I think he'll want to try to take his championship lead back in style. Well, I think he'll try to push Jensen all the way to the end and potentially try and get a race win here. So it'll be an interesting battle there. We've also got the likes of Drobel, who will want to get through the pack pretty quick and get himself back onto a podium place if possible. Henkers, who's been doing a fantastic power job for the likes of Lives in P5, but I can't see him doing much damage. I think he's at the pace this weekend personally. So yeah, I think it's going to be very close to the race win. I think we're in for a very interesting battle on these last. It'll be 3 laps. Will it 3 laps?
I suspect 3 laps. Safety cars should be in this lap, which will leave us with lap 20, 21, and 22 for racing. And well, I was going to say something I completely forgot. Fungus in the chat said he actually got his 3 warnings avoiding spinning, so that is a big unfortunate for object there.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate indeed. I'm not sure we could do a lot of that one as well, Object Fungus. I know you were trying to save it, but if you dig over track limits, then yeah, that's just really unfortunate.
Game sucks. What can we say?
Yeah, definitely. As the FIFA trader has said, what a finale this will be, and yeah, I do think this is going to be a fantastic 3-lap sprint to the end. As I mentioned, there's a couple of drivers here that are out of position. They'll try and make their way through, but I think the battle is going to be between Lives and Jensen, as the safety car does come in, and Jensen now effectively becomes a safety car, slowing the pack down. And I do wonder if he'll try to go early here or try play a different strategy, as the drivers are now trying to get as much heat into these softs as they can, although you imagine they won't need to put much work into these softs.
Yeah, maybe just playing the mind games a little bit. Of course, Drobel, his teammate, is quite a way back in P6. He will, of course, be looking to get the jump towards the start. But let's keep an eye on Jensen towards the front, as the guys are sticking very close to him. It looks like it's going to be a late go from Jensen.
Yep, and I think he's gone. He has gone just before the bus stop. I don't think he's got Hankers sleeping there at all. Hankers was well aware of that one. Sorry, Hankers Lives. I do apologise about that one. Lives was well aware of that one. But Jensen does lead him down to turn 1. And with 8 cars left, that was always going to be a clean restart.
Yeah, absolutely. Jensen opting to go for the same place he went last time, and Lives was wise to it. So, race on. Oh, Lives,
oh,
no!
Lives!
Oh, no, race not on!
Oh, no! I mean, it'll still be an interesting battle between the 2 drivers, but what a shame there for Lives. That's absolute heartbreak for the Aston Martin driver.
Yeah, I'm looking. It all looks very clean at the restart. Not a lot in terms of position changes. I think, in fact, no position changes. Maybe Prem didn't get ahead. He already was. Drobel is on the back of Henkers, and the man who just will not give up, Object Fungus, right behind Drobel with his rear wing damage. He's doing fantastically, as Jensen's pulled out that crucial 1 second gap.
Yep, Jensen having a fantastic first lap after the restart. Liv's probably absolutely devastated. He's got a time penalty. There's still potential here. If Drobel can get past Henkers quick enough, that we could have a double Red Bull podium, but he's got a lot of work to do, and he's got to get it done quickly due to time penalty ahead of him. As expected, Jensen sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.9, and it's all about just keeping it clean for these last couple of laps. I can see that Drobel is all over the rear wing of Henkers, pushing through turn 1, and Drobel desperately needs to get this move done if he wants a chance of getting himself on that podium.
It was a small mistake through Radion there from Henkers, and that has invited Drobel to attack him, but he's got the He's got the slipstream on Prem.
Oh!
And Henkers is round. That looks like it happened before the corner.
Yeah, I think it did. I'm not quite sure what Henkers did there. I don't think there was any contact between the drivers. I think he might just turn a little bit to really hit the curb and spun it. But as it stands then, Strobel will not be on the podium.
Right.
He's got to get past Prem, has he?
Nope, he will be on the podium. The gap to leader is 3.7 seconds. And the gap to lives is about 2.8.
Right, so he has got to get a move on if he wants to try and keep it, if he wants to get himself on the podium.
Yeah.
He's got to try to clear Prem, which you imagine on the DRS he will do very comfortably. So we'll keep an eye on this because I think this is a close battle on track as it stands. Yeah, it says as Object Fungus almost goes in the back of Drobel at the bus stop chicane. Very lucky to start the car, and that would have been disastrous for the Red Bull driver. But we will start the final lap. Jensen is leading Livs by 8 tenths, so Livs will have DRS, but it doesn't matter at this point unless Jensen picks himself a time penalty up, which I hope he doesn't. But coming through Eau Rouge, we've got a three-way battle. Object Fungus goes wide with that rear wing damage. DRS wide open. And as expected, Drobel is going to fly past Prem. And potentially Object Fungus is going to look for a move here. Object Fungus, the man just won't sit down. Up into P5. Prem losing 2 spaces in 1 corner. But it won't matter anyway because Object Fungus has that 3-second time penalty. But what that was some brilliant racing there.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a last-minute move there from Object, but he did it well. He did it safely. Prem needs to get his head down. He's still up for some really good points today due to the drivers in front having penalties. So Prem, just keep your head down, keep it going, keep her straight, and you will pick up probably 4th place. I think, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not very good at maths.
I think it will be 4th place at the moment. I think he's dropped too far back to be on the podium. I do think Livs will take P3 as it stands. But we will jump forward to our race leader, Jensen. Coming round all the way down to the bus stop chicane. Considering his race start and where he was, he's driven a fantastic race. Coming through the final corner. ETSR Jensen with a weave. And he comes over the line and wins the race. Drobel takes P2. Livs P3, Drop P4, Prem P5, Object Fungus P6, Tiddlewink P7, and unfortunately Henkers, who looks set to get some decent points, in P8.
Yeah, he still picks up 4 points, which is better than a kick in the balls. So, absolute fair play to Henkers there for sticking that one out. Object Fungus is the games driver of the day. Well, we'll see who gets awarded that later on. As we come towards the podium celebrations, then we've got a double Red Bull podium, a 1-2, and yeah, it's been a race. It has been a race.
Yep, definitely. We saw some fantastic action on track. I think some incidents we saw were due to track related, where the traction's just gone. The driving was very clean indeed, and it was a shame to see only 8 drivers finish the race. But yeah, it was a fantastic race. Jensen fully deserved that victory in the end. Livs very unlucky picking that time penalty up. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have our Division 1 provisional results with Jensen in P1, Drobel in P2, so that Red Bull 1-2 as it stands, Livs in P3, Jock in P4, Prem's P5, Object Fungus in P6, Tiddlewink P7, Henkers P8, Flatter Lads P9, and rounding our points off today is Brad Mason in P10. And then the drivers that did unfortunately didn't get any penalty, get any points this time round is Diamond Dushi in P11, Snares in P12, Magusa P13, Bawley P14, Junior Vane P15, Seneco P16, and Midfield Maestro P17. And yeah, what a race that was. Very unfortunate for Magus the way he went out. But it does mean Lives, as it stands, will retake the championship lead, and it's going to go down to the final race for certain, this is. But yeah, what a race. My voice is absolutely wrecked, I cannot lie. I can only thank David Lawface for joining me tonight. But there is that one small matter of what we need to settle, David, and it is your driver of the day.
So, a few contenders today, but I think in the end it is gonna, apart from you, TJ, obviously you're my driver of the day for sticking it out with your horrendous cough that you seem to have. I think I'm gonna give it to Jensen today. He's drove an immaculate race and good recovery, and he claimed the win, so well done to that man.
Yep, congratulations, Drobel. You are today's driver of the day, and I did call it before the race. You had the absolute tea of a champion, and it has shown today. Congratulations on your race win and driver of the day, and congratulations to Drobel and Lives for finishing P2 and P3. But that is all we have time for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please do tune in tomorrow for the Division 2 race round here, and if you do have the time, we would love to see you there. We have got our Partnership League FPRL racing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doing rounds. I should know this.
Japan.
I should know this. They are driving around Japan. Thank you very much, David Lawface.
I couldn't remember either.
In round 18, still a few championships up for grabs there, and very close battle indeed. And then across an EURL on Friday, the drivers there will be racing around. Once again, I'm just checking this one up. I'm so sorry. What date are we on, actually?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening.
EURL? Oh no, there they are, sorry. Also, EURL race Suzuka this week. So if you'd like your Japan, if you like your race around Suzuka, you've got FPRL and EURL racing this week. So please do tune in and show your support for your drivers. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. And a massive thank you to David Wellface for jumping in and helping to save my voice. As always, David, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the comments box.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, it's been a good race. Always a pleasure with you, TJ. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.